Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of Top 4.
Top 4.
With the Fantastic Four here, also known as the Longbox Guys. I'm Tom, that's
Mike.
And that's
LT.
And over there is
Ben Grimm. Nah, it's
Ben
just
Grimm.
Josh.
Just Josh. Hey, it's good that you picked Julio, the Jewish character, right? Ben Grimm went right with it.
Nailed it.
Little shout out to you, Sasha. Welcome to the podcast / videocast where we talk about something stupid in groups of 4. It can be 4 of almost anything. And this week, we chose something that one of us, LT, knows almost nothing about. And that is top 4 Dungeons & Dragons spells. 3 of us are big Dungeons & Dragons guys. LT is kind of dabbled once or twice. But you've seen the movies, you know what a spell is, gonna go with it. Of all the guys here, I think Zig, which is Mike Manning's character, is probably the best wizard I know. Josh, you've had the best cleric I know.
Not gonna lie, I picked a cleric spell.
Did you pick a cleric spell? I figured you might. Mike, start us off.
I did play a wizard once. Played dressing up for
your wife as Gandalf does not count.
No,
I played a wizard.
I played one of Mike's characters, Stan the Unsanitary. He was an all-powerful wizard, and his only magical spell that he could do was make everything stink.
Stan the Unsanitary had the stink spell.
Yes.
Well, I know what
it wasn't really a stink spell. It was just more body odor than anything, but...
Yeah. He just had to lift his arms up in a subway. Mikey, give us your favorite Dungeons & Dragons spell.
For me, it is Featherfall.
Holy shit, drink! That was mine. Such a simple but elegant spell, right?
Yeah, because I have had gravity kill more characters than any dragon. And... I loved that spell. The character that you just mentioned, Zig, was notorious for jumping off of anything to try to grapple somebody else. So we had a wizard who was a pain in the butt for us and was escaping by jumping off or was going to fly away. So as he started to fly away, I just jumped over, grappled him. I failed. I cast Featherfall to save my life, which was good.
It would have been so heroic, but it still was cool.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So
Featherfall. That was still awesome. And that's a first level spell, right?
First or second?
Depending on what edition you're in, it could vary.
I remember as a first level spell, all you needed was a feather. I love that so many spell components were kind of a pun.
Sure.
Josh, why don't you tell us your favorite?
Well, I'm kind of going back into the vault here, and I'm going a little obscure. So back in the 2nd edition days, there was a book called Tome of Magic, which introduced a bunch of crazy spells into the system. And at the time, one of them immediately became my favorite as a cleric, and it's called solipsism. Now, solipsism is an opposite of an illusion, where you imagine something and you have to try really hard to believe in it. And if you believe in it, it's real to you. So, like, you could be running up, and if there's a chasm, you could make a solipsistic bridge. And if you really believed it was there, you could actually walk across the chasm. So the great thing about the spell is that if any of your enemies wanted to follow you across the bridge, they had to really want to believe in it, but it was all or nothing. So you could do tricky things like make bridges guarded by giants. Now, you could cross the bridge, but you also had to believe in the giants. So, it was just one of those things that you could get really creative with. And it was sort of a wide open spell that really sort of just catered to your imagination. I enjoyed it very much.
And I'm surprised you like that spell because it is one of those spells that are anything I need, I have spells. But the limitation, I think, on it is what kind of makes it better for you. Am I wrong there?
Yeah. I mean, you really gotta buckle down and hope that you can cross that bridge or you plummet to your death. So
yeah, but if you're a
Featherfall.
divine spellcaster, you believe in your deity is giving you this power, so it stands to reason it's a divine spell, and the faithful would have no problem. I believe that spell was the impetus for one of the tests in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh yeah, the leap of faith.
The leap of faith.
Yeah. Essentially the same
You can
thing.
believe that all you want, but I don't think the writers of Indiana Jones was reading or playing Dungeons and Dragons at that particular time, because that spell was not around forever.
No. Well, second edition was around for a while, and might have been around Last Crusade times.
All right, might have been, but I'm going to call that maybe. I'll give it a maybe.
I'm going to tell you when Tome of Magic was printed.
All right. While you're doing that, Tommy, sweet Tommy, favorite spell?
Fireball.
Give me
It's a classic.
It's a classic. While Josh is looking that up, Mike, what are the material components for Fireball?
It depends on which edition you're talking about, but it used to be like ash.
Bat guano.
Bat guano and sulfur. What does that all make?
Black powder.
Gunpowder. All of these spells are just kind of weird puns about science. I'll give you another. It's true. That's one of the reasons I like it. Invisibility is a pinch of talcum powder that you blow, and the dust has to stick to it. Yeah, that's the invisibility potion. You have to have talcum powder. Flesh to stone is lime, water, and earth. You are literally making a little bit of concrete to turn your flesh to stone.
Yeah,
I just like the puns. I just like the pun part of it.
Okay, so you are right, but not by far.
Okay.
So Last Crusade comes out in 89, Tome of Magic printed in 91, so it could have been reversed.
Oh.
Or if you really believe it was printed earlier, the spell still works.
The spell still works.
Once again, I didn't disbelieve that they would play Dungeons and Dragons. They seemed like they might. But that thing really was out for a very specific timeline for him.
LT has probably capitalized on the most famous Dungeons and Dragons spell. I mean, you see T-shirts at conventions.
Absolutely.
I cast Fireball. Also, one of the most misused spells. Like, I'm gonna guess TPK Fireball is probably the #1 spell that does it. Anyone want to disagree with that? There's not a lot of spells that wipe out your whole party if you fuck it up. But we have definitely lost people from.
Oh, well, like in second edition, like there would be that backdraft.
Yeah.
If you filled the entire room, it would just still kick out. Yeah. So you are correct. Depending on what edition you're talking, it could be a very dangerous spell for a math challenged wizard.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of any other spells that can that easily wipe you out and members of your party.
So for early gameplay, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't right now. It's like a 2nd level spell, and depending on the hit dice of the monster, it either blinded, stunned,
or
color spray.
Color spray. Color spray was the early character killer, because you ended up stunning or blinding half your party, and they were
the lowest.
Subsequently murdered. Yeah.
Another good spell.
Good low level spell.
All right, Josh. Me. I liked Rope Trick. I had a character who just loved using Rope Trick. It's a very simple spell. I think it was 3rd level. Anybody know off the top of their head?
2nd or 3rd, I'll give it. Yeah.
2nd or 3rd, and it was one of the ones that fakirs in the Far East would use, where you throw the rope up into the air and you climb up the rope and you disappear. In Dungeons and Dragons terms, you could pull the rope up after you, and you'd be in this pocket dimension outside of combat. So you could take a second, drink a potion, prepare a spell, get ready to get back into it. But it gave you a brief respite if you needed it, and you weren't too worried about the rest of your party handling what was going on. It was good for magic users who were out of things to do and needed to rumble around in the backpack, or just needed to get out of combat to heal themselves enough to get back in there and be effective. Do you guys ever use Rope Trick? I like Rope Trick.
I did not utilize it a lot.
No. Only, I think Lehman's Tiny Hut I used a lot more.
Yeah.
Just to, camp out and stuff like that.
That one's more for like camping out. I could actually use this one in combat to get the fuck away for a minute.
Yeah, but I mean, you could just cast a first level Obscuring Mist.
Obscuring Mist made you obscure. This thing brought you out of the game.
Sure.
Yeah, you pull that rope up, you're good for a minute or two.
You pull that rope up, young wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and back
Josh,
then I believe a minute was one round.
Yeah.
Oh, so long ago.
So long ago.
The kids today spoiled.
You know how time works, kids today. Josh, did you have one? I know it's clerical.
You already said.
Yeah, I had solipsism.
Oh, Psalms. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't believe you
about
said. Yeah. Anyone got any big runners up? I loved Milf's Acid Arrow when it first came out. It was just a good way to do damage early on.
Yeah, I kind of missed the first edition spells that were named particularly after wizards.
Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah.
All the grasping hand spells have gone away, even sans the Bigby's name.
Yeah, well, I think you're the one who told me that they got sued for the word Bigsby.
Well,
right?
No, I mean they did scrub all this, so it's not Aluk's Sphere anymore or Mordenkainen's Mansion, but they kept those spells. They just removed the wizard's name, but I don't think they kept the Bigby spells at all.
Oh, that's too bad. Those are good spells.
Yeah.
There is in Pathfinder they have a one where you grab it's an acid hand.
I remember there is a grasping hand still. I guess it's not Bigsby's grasping hand, but I know there's a grasping hand in Pathfinder. Well, I don't know. I think I recall.
I think Tenzer didn't get enough credit for his discs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Tenzer's floating disc was pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, the thing was just float next to you. You put your shit on. It was like having a coffee table. Who doesn't want a coffee table?
Follows you around everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could climb up on it.
Yeah. But it couldn't move when you're on there.
Yeah.
Who knows? You could probably use a rope trick with it.
Yeah, maybe.
Sure, why not?
Coffee table up in my rope trick. I'd be comfy up there.
All right.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I think that'll do it for top 4 Dungeons & Dragons spells. I know some of you guys out there are playing Dungeons & Dragons, so if you have a better spell, especially the lower level ones, like the super high level ones, we don't care about as much. But if you have a great or favorite spell, just put it down here in the comments, right? Hit the like button. It's over there, I think. And subscribe to us. And if you want to hear our podcast, go to anywhere you see podcasts. Go to the Longbox Guys. You'll see us. We're there.
Yeah.
We're around.
Looks just like Mike's logo. You'll find us.
Yeah, that thing.
That thing.
And we have a Patreon too, and we'll get more into that if you go over to the podcast. We won't shill it here. We don't have to shill it everywhere. But all the money does go to the Elizabeth Peabody Food Bank, which does feed a lot of people.
A lot of people.
We
had 130 people on Sunday.
Ooh, that's a lot of people.
Just on Sunday.
Do we have 130 bags of food?
We ended up making 130 bags of food.
I know when I left there on Wednesday, there wasn't 130.
It was not.
All right, and that will do it for the Longbox Guys. Thanks a lot, guys, and have a great day.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.